Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 2.
Episode 2.
Of The Spill.
Hey, guys.
If we look a little loopy, it's because it may look like there's water in this glass, but it ain't. I don't know what it is, but it's not water.
There's water in my cup. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Not her throwing me under the bus. I did something new today.
What?
I played pickleball.
How was that?
It was actually really amazing. Like, I got really into it. So we had this spring activity at my work, and we went to, it's called the Recreation Center on Front Street downtown.
I know exactly what that is.
And they have like a pickleball court, and everybody in my work division is always talking about pickleball, and I was feeling a little bit insecure because I have never played pickleball. I don't know. I imagine it's the equivalent of like all those guys talking about how they play golf and like the men that don't golf feeling a little inadequate.
Like the tennis club.
Yes. Like just belonging to some like elite club.
Yeah.
So we went and played pickleball, and I was like, yo, I'm going to get right into this. And so we got a pickleball lesson, which was really cool. And then we got to we did a bunch of drills, and then we got to play.
What they taught you?
To hold the paddle like a handshake, which was really good advice. Also, we need to talk about pickleball terminology, okay? First of all, the ball is called a wiffle ball. W-I-F-F-L-E.
All right.
Okay? There's something called a dink, which is when it's kind of like it's not a serve, but it's like when I don't know. I should know this. I just learned this.
Volley?
I can't remember.
Like
remember, it's not water in the glass. Kind of, yes. Yes, but it's done in a specific way to make it like more of a challenge for the other person.
So when you do it, are you hitting it to the other side? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's something called a deep return. So I just feel like between the wiffle ball, the dinkle, and the
All right.
Yeah, and the deep return. The terminology was crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pickleball seems too intense for me. At my gym, they have a pickleball league. And when I tell you, they have a ranking system on an app. And if you are not a part of, for example, the level 3s won't play against you.
That would make me very insecure. And
I want nothing to do. I want nothing to do with it.
That would make me very insecure. I'm just trying to I'm trying to do new things.
New things
I did a kickboxing class a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, how was
that?
I
won like a 5-class pass to a kickboxing. It's an all women's kickboxing class, which is badass.
All right. Do you choke anybody to sleep?
Calm down.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
You serial killer. It's literally a kickboxing class, so no, there was none of that.
Okay,
oh my God.
Right. I'm just curious.
No, it wasn't that. But yeah, it was really cool because I had the bob in front of me, and she's she taught me like the uppercut, and I just got to beat this thing up and like go to town. And then she's like, kick it. I had no idea my leg could go that high, but my leg did in fact go that high. And then I also got, there's a new Pilates club opening up near me. And so I got like a really sweet registration offer. 8 classes a month for $187 a month.
Good.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
And what's good about it is it's all targeted towards beginners because they took like a census of a lot of the new people that are joining the gym, and it's a lot of newbies. And so they're like, we're making like specific programming for beginners. So
okay, I love that.
I'm doing new things.
Here's to trying new things.
Especially
when it comes to working out, because when it comes to working out, I feel like we're constantly changing what we need to do based on where our body's at the moment, especially as women. And it's nice to try new things because it gives you variety.
Yeah. I'm really also getting more into lifting too. We listened to the Mel Robbins podcast where she spoke to this woman who laid out everything that women after the age of like 30 need to be doing differently.
Absolutely.
And just about how counterintuitive like diet culture and athletic culture has been towards women. So that was really interesting.
We're not little men.
We are not little men. I really liked that she said that. That was very, very, very insightful.
Okay, so on to more important things. I want to know about the Patrice concert this weekend.
Well, it was good, but by the time this airs, that's going to be stale anyway. But it was good. It was good. Like I just feel like we get to that point in the year where summer planning starts to ramp up. Like around April, May, you start to see the flyers for events. Like, when I tell you our whole entire summer, we've been, like, our group chats have been going crazy. My credit card has taken a serious beating. Like, the tickets are purchased. It's just insane.
We're going to Grenada.
We're going to Grenada for Spice Mass, which is going to be, the content is going to be top tier.
Yeah, we're going to have so much fun. I'm so excited about the concert. gowns and the outfit.
Yeah, I'm really excited for their Soca Monarch, to be honest. I love Trinidad Carnival, but it's getting too a little touristy, which is crazy to say because I'm a tourist. Like, I'm part of the problem, but I can't say what I want to say, otherwise I'm going to get canceled.
Okay, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
You're right.
We're trying to decide on costumes.
Yeah.
We would really, I think what's most important to me is that we play in the same section. And
hold on. The reason why that's important is because if we don't, Rebecca's going to get lost. Okay. If I don't have a leash around her neck, I'm going to lose my friend.
I will make a lot of good friends.
She makes remember when we went to Stinkandati and nobody could find Rebecca, and I keep getting a call. I got a call from some guy named Steve Persad, and she's like, "Hey babe, it's me, Bex. I'm in the middle." And then she came out of the crowd covered in paint and soap and all types of stuff. But I think the joke was, so Rebecca's sound effect is like the from her iPhone because she's always looking for it. And she was pressing that while we're in the middle of this big, massive concert, like outdoor fete, thinking that I would hear that. And that
I was hoping she would get,
but even if I heard, Rebecca, even if I heard it, what am I going to do?
Be like, oh, she's looking for me.
But I knew you were looking for me, bitch. I was looking for you too. Just ridiculous. Anyway. Last week on our podcast episode, we had a little conversation about how much blackness we would ascribe ourselves and how much whiteness we would ascribe ourselves. And one thing I'm going to say about Rebecca, like last year you said that you were making a black cake. No, 2 years ago actually, 2023. Yeah. She's like, oh, I'm going to make a black cake. And if there's any like non-Caribbean people listening, which I hope there are, hi, welcome. We love everybody.
Yes.
We don't see color here.
We don't.
I kind of rolled my eyes because I was like, okay, this is not going to be good. I got to give it to you, girl. That was some of the best black cake I ever did have.
Oh, thank you.
The texture was good. Everything was good. So this year she has made bun and cheese, which again...
this year. Every year we do
I didn't know you do it every year.
At Christmas.
Okay.
And bun and cheese. Or not bun. You don't make the cheese. You make the bun at Easter, and then you give it to people, and they go buy their own cheese, and they eat the bun with the cheese. But it's a family tradition. It's very important to my aunt,
to all Jamaicans everywhere.
It's important to.
Sorry, I was tough on the Jamaicans last time. I'm sorry, guys. I love you.
It's important to Jamaicans, but I feel like it's especially.
I love you guys.
Important to my aunt and to her aunt, and it's like a family tradition. And my older aunt has passed away, and I just feel like it's a great way to honor her around this time. And we always use her recipes, and I don't know, like it feels good to do it with my 83 and 60-year-old aunt, soon to be 60, and it feels nice. It feels nice to carry on the family tradition.
Thanks so much for that context, but if this sucks, I can't be honest about it now based on the information that you just provided. She's like, oh, it's like about death and loss
I have to
conserving culture. So I have
to give a pretext. It is more fruity than a usual bun.
What does that mean?
So like there's more buns that just use purple raisins.
Okay.
Like I use the green maraschino, the red maraschino, the golden raisins, and the purple raisins.
Okay, so I'm going to try it.
We go all the way. Okay, now mine is, I like it toasted, but like...
Oh. This is good.
Is it?
It is good. And I understand why it goes with the cheese.
Yeah.
Because the cheese is a little tart.
Yeah.
The bun is like, it tastes like, I don't know, like it's a little bit cinnamony, like nutmeggy. Okay, nutmeg. Okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, but it has like that spiced kind of...
And
this is really,
yeah, you can taste.
Wait, stout like beer?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna get into this.
Yeah, you specifically use dragon stout, like
oh my gosh,
sugar.
This is so enjoyable.
Okay,
let me nyam that.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad you.
Once our taping is done. Okay, so you want to get into some questions?
Yes, absolutely, girl. Isn't that why we're here?
That's why we're here.
Okay, this is why we're here. So the first question's gonna come from me, and it is, what are some of the biggest financial missteps you made in your 20s?
A lot. Okay, so I think if I were to go back to the beginning of my 20s, one of the first things that I did was not use the grants that I was getting through OSAP strategically. So because my family, like yearly income, which is what they base your allowance on, wasn't the highest. Like I wasn't coming from a very rich family. I ended up qualifying for a lot of grants that I was not expecting to. I couldn't give you a number about like how much extra it was per semester, but it was enough that with me living at home and really only paying the bill of like maybe my phone, I could have done something with it, whether it was save it or invested into a GIC. But I kind of just let it sit in my account and like just disappear. And like you just kind of spend it on dumb stuff, you know? I think the second mistake, I'll call it a misstep. I don't want to call it a mistake because I didn't have the knowledge.
Well, did you learn a lesson from it? So maybe it's not a
Absolutely.
misstep.
So the second thing that happened was in 2014, I can't remember how old I was, but I got into a really bad car accident.
The Acura!
Yeah, my Integra.
Oh my God,
my Integra.
The stick.
Yeah, my
two-door
car.
coupe.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember
Julie was her name. My little green
that
Integra.
little green wonderful one.
I got T-boned really badly, and
coming off Shepherd.
yeah, and I ended up fracturing my finger, and I wasn't at fault. And my sister, bless her, advised me to get a lawyer and to basically like file a claim against the driver. I didn't know that you could do that. I didn't know that it was a thing. But looking back, I was actually working at a store called Cash Money, which was like a check cashing store. And people would come in all the time with like $30,000, $40,000 checks from these insurance companies. And I'm like, what is going on? And how do I get involved? But a lot of it was from these car accidents, a lot of which were being staged, by the way.
Absolutely.
But this one, it was not staged. I was making a left turn. And I know that they say that when you're making a left turn, you're automatically in the wrong. But this was an intersection where it was a T, right? So I can either go left or right. Like I cannot go straight. I can either go left or right. And when I made the left turn, the guy went straight through and hit me, and he T-boned me.
Not
so I fractured. Yeah, no, I remember his name. I remember his van. He drove a Toyota Sienna. That bastard. Rat bastard.
Well, he made a mistake, right?
What do you mean he made a mistake? Why are you running a red light? What are you talking about?
Sorry. Go
Like,
ahead.
drive your car, but not through a red light.
All right.
Anyway, so I fractured my finger, and I ended up getting about $20,000 for that whole case. And I used a lot of that to pay down my student loan debt, which I mean, like, cool.
Well, you owe interest on it, so you do want to get that.
But student loan debt is not considered to be bad debt. It's not like I've racked up $15,000 worth of charges at Louis Vuitton, which would be like, what, 2 things or something. I don't know. I don't shop at Louis V. But I just could have done so much more with that money. But, you know, like you live and you learn. I wish that I didn't pay off my student loans so fast. I paid them off. I paid off about $24,000 worth of student loan debt 6 months after I graduated.
Right.
Took some money from my savings to pay it off. And I think I wish that I just gave myself a little bit more grace in repaying. And then the very last thing that I did, and this one is a huge eye-opener, I got pregnant at 25, and I moved out of my parents' home as soon as I had enough money to buy a house. I regret that.
I feel like, isn't that what society tells you?
It is what society tells you.
Just, you know, the second you have a chance, move out.
Yeah, it is what society tells you. And at the time, I was the last kid left, and we had the space, and my parents said, hey, listen, like, if you want to stay here for the first year of the baby's life, like, we're happy to have you. And we didn't do that. We ended up buying a house. And I think for 2 reasons. Like, financially, I think we would have been way better off if we had just given ourselves more time. But I think it would have taken away a lot of strain that was on our relationship.
A financial component is a huge strain.
Well, we did a lot. We became homeowners, parents, and we moved out of our family homes all in the space of like a couple months.
It's a lot to deal with.
So it was a lot to deal with. So if I could go back, you know, I don't know that I would. But it certainly gives me some perspective. What about you?
I think in this economy, it's fair to say I'm nervous about buying a house right now and possibly losing my deposit on it. Not that that's what happened to you, but I feel like if you're not making it a long-term investment, I feel like it could be a legitimate problem for you. But for me, I think, honestly, the biggest mistake I made in my early 20s was just not using my money as smart as I could. For example, like using low interest loans to maybe pay off high interest loans, making sure that I'm making the right investments, maybe investing in like real estate, ensuring that I have a better future for myself. At the end of the day, I need to think about the assets that I own, and I don't think that I did that as much when I was younger. And I feel like I came from a family where we didn't really talk about money. It was I think like I grew up with no offense to my parents, broke parents from a broke
She said,
family.
no offense to my parents, broke parents.
Broke family, broke parents.
Broke parents, broke family, everybody broke.
And I feel like the conversation of money was kind of taboo, and investments and this, that, the other. And I think not being frank from a young age about like the role that money plays in your life could be a detriment to somebody
Hugely.
who's trying to figure out how to succeed, or at least set themselves up for
Success.
in their late 30s.
Yeah.
So I feel like in my early 20s, what I would have loved to do is maybe even just hire like a financial planner or somebody who actually could help remove the stigma of
But here's
money.
the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have been teaching us that shit in school.
Yeah,
Like, when I look back,
that's way more important.
No,
than
like,
so
why
many
should you
topics.
have
Yeah.
to get a financial planner in your 20s when you've just left the public education system?
Yeah, it's true.
You taught me Euler's theorem, Pythagorean theorem, but you didn't teach
Okay,
me
those
about
are
like.
important, but I'm
No, they're not. When have you ever used that in your
I
life
think
after
there's-
leaving
I
high
think
school?
I think maybe instead of reading like The Color Purple, maybe you could like substitute that with like financial literacy.
Maybe instead of Shakespeare, let's keep the black literature in for sure.
Okay,
And
The
maybe
Color
like.
Purple, have you read that book?
I know.
It's-
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair.
honestly,
Okay. Sorry. Oh my God. My bad.
I want
No, that's
to
fair.
like Toni Morrison, but
That's
The
fair.
Color Purple.
Okay.
Is
All right.
torture to read.
Let's not too much on Toni Morrison. I will
I
say
love
though,
her.
no matter like I really
not
do
the book.
implore everybody, if you are at a place where you are living at home and you are living with your parents and they are not insufferable and they are not causing you mental anguish, you stay there for as long as you can.
Save your pennies.
Save your pennies, because no matter how much you think you have saved, let me tell you something. You want a humbling experience? Go to your local department store and I want you to look at two things: the price of toilet paper towel, and the price of garbage cans. And I'm not talking about your deggy pop down Rubbermaid.
$100.
Yo.
For my friend, me and her were shopping for a garbage can.
Like a
I'm
nice stainless steel
$100.
foot tapper that
And
has
it's
like a gentle
small.
close.
It's a small one.
Yep.
It's a small one.
$100. Like, you will get humbled so quickly. So just have a good understanding of how much life really costs, because
Yeah.
it's the runway. It's the runway. Like, you want to give yourself as much runway as possible, and do not let the thought of, well, I don't want to live at home. I want my freedom. You will not have freedom if you, well,
Are
I
living
guess.
paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, it
it's a
depends,
different
though,
kind
like-
it's a different kind of freedom. It's the freedom with the financial stress. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I think what's really missing is just open and frank conversations
Yeah.
about how much things cost,
Yeah.
how much you're actually taking in after taxes,
Yeah.
and really, truthfully, what can you afford to live the life that or the lifestyle that you want or are accustomed to.
Yeah.
And I feel like I regret not having those conversations sooner.
Yeah, agree. Okay, question numero 2.
All right.
That's
Question
you.
number 2. Let's see. What is, I'm sure you have so many good ones for this. What is the worst date you've ever been on?
All right, buckle up, folks. Let me tell you a little story. Okay.
I love story time.
All right, so I came home from a party one night and I was scrolling through Instagram, and this was a while back. And you know the like people you might know
Yeah.
tab? You don't know that tab because you don't have
No,
social media. Don't lie. Don't lie.
I thought you
She said, "Yeah, I know that." No,
No,
you don't.
I thought you meant, do you know people that you know?
Okay, anyway, that.
I didn't realize she was talking
So
about a tab.
this guy popped up and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I went to high school with him."
Is he going to be watching this?
I don't know, maybe. It depends.
Okay.
And even if he is, like, this happened, like, he has to own up to it. So
He
I
can't
clicked
deny
on
it.
his profile and I was like, oh my God, he grew up nice. Now, to be clear, we never actually spoke in high school. So I follow him and then I slid in his DMs and I was like, hey, like, didn't we go to high school together? And he was like, yeah. And so we're just talking back and forth and the conversation flowed very easily. And before I went to bed, I was like, you know, like, if you want to grab a drink sometime, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm a shooter. I'm going to shoot my shot.
I love that.
I'm going to do that every single time. So maybe a couple weeks after that, I think, he planned like a nice date and he came and he picked me up. And we went out to dinner. We went out to a sushi place, and it was really nice. And then at
sushi.
it was and he wasn't like a huge sushi person, so it was nice that he was willing to like go outside his comfort
okay.
zone.
Did you request it or did he offer?
No, he just he planned everything about that date, which I really like because the men are not doing that anymore.
Okay, yeah,
right.
all right.
So we there was no kissing on the first date or anything like that, but I got out of the car and I was like, I'd really like to do this again. So he reached out to me, or I reached out to him, and we planned to do an art project. And he said like, yeah, I'll come over. We can do an art project.
What kind of art project?
An art project. Just an art project.
That could be literally so many things. Okay.
Just an art project.
Okay.
It wasn't anything crazy, but just an art project. So
Okay.
He came over, he brought food, he brought alcohol, and like he made us drinks, and we're just doing this art project. We're vibing to some music. It was really nice. Like that was really
vibing.
We were vibing. Like it was just
playing good music.
He was playing good music. The music was bumping, right? So
that's important.
Yeah, so it's great. But I'm watching him pour the drinks, and I'm like,
what is he pouring?
some type of rum, and like
an intense rum.
Not an intense rum, but it was the amount that he was pouring.
Okay.
And
Was it Ray nephew?
No, that's
Okay.
she drinks that. She has an IV actually, like that's connected to her bloodstream with IV in it. I said to him, I'm like, you have a really heavy pour. And he turns to me and he's like, that's why a lot of people can't drink with me. Nobody can really keep up with me. And in my head, I'm like,
Is that something you're supposed to brag about?
But also, like, you met your match because I could keep up.
All right.
So he's making these drinks. Yeah. And at one point, like, we stop with the art projects and we're just chilling. We're vibing to the music. And we're dancing in my living room because I love to dance in my living room. And so the fact that he's dancing with me in my living room and we just did this art project and everything's cool. At one point, he goes to pick me up. And I shit you not, this man drops me on the back of my head. And I thought so. I have a fireplace in my living room. You've seen the fireplace. It is a sharp corner. So as I'm falling, in like the 2 seconds that it takes for me to hit the ground, I'm like, I may or may not crack my skull wide open on this very night. He drops me and then like he picks me back up and he's like, oh, my bad. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
is he drunk?
Well, I wasn't seeing like I felt like, okay, maybe he's tipsy, but not until he dropped me did I, because otherwise I never would have let him pick me up.
Okay.
Right? So I'm back on my feet now, like checking for like a cocoa on my head. And he says, where's the bathroom? Because now he hasn't gone to the bathroom yet. So I'm like, oh, the bathroom's in my room. So he goes, he uses the bathroom. He comes back out and he says, do you have a plastic bag?
For what?
And I'm like, I know this man is not asking me for a plastic bag. Also, I don't have that. It's recyclable bag season. Who has plastic bags anymore? Okay. So I'm like, oh my God, this guy.
What does he need a bag for?
Because he's about to throw up. So I go into
the man who can drink?
The man who nobody can keep up with him. I'm like, whoa. So I go into I don't know if you have one of these, but like, the cupboard with like just bare bags.
Which comes tumbling down when you open it.
Every single time. So I open that and I'm like, rah, 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 like combing through because I don't want him throwing up on my couch. I find one plastic bag, I bring it to him, okay?
Stephanie,
let me tell you something.
Where is this going?
He takes the bag. He takes the handles. He hooks one over this ear, the other over this ear, and he begins
like a beard?
Like a beard. And he begins to start vomiting into this bag.
Not even the bathroom?
No, into the bag. But the way that he's vomiting is like, bleh, bleh. Like he's not, and I don't know what would make it better if he's like doing like a projectile, like, or just, it just was like, but that's not even the worst part, Bex. Are you ready for what I'm about to tell you?
I don't know. I feel shocked by this first part.
You guys are not going to believe me when I tell you this.
What?
He was farting to the rhythm of his puking, right? So if he's going like, he's farting like, brr, brr, brr. He's farting and throwing up at the same time. And at this point, I'm sitting on my couch like, how did we get here? How
drunk are you? Are you sober?
No, like I'm tipsy. I'm like a 3 out of 10 because I think he had maybe one more drink than me when he was at my house. But like, even if I was going toe to toe with him, like I don't think I would have been like that. So anyway, all of this is to say that, and then when he took the bag off, he had puke chunks in his beard.
Stephanie, I have goosebumps.
Puke chunks in the beard. No! What is going on? Okay.
That's so disgusting.
So he's now falling asleep with like the bag like half on his face. And I'm just like, this man has puked in front of me. He's farted to the rhythm of the puke. He has chunks in the beard. The bag was hooked onto the ears. There's too much going on. This is only the second time we're chilling. Like,
What? Girl.
I was mortified. Okay, so then after all that, I'm like, this man was supposed to drive home. So he goes...
No, he cannot anymore.
Right, but that's so irresponsible because why are you coming to my house and putting me in a situation where I either have to let you go home and drive drunk, which I'm obviously not going to do, or sleep at my house unexpectedly? Like, as a woman, that is a very dangerous situation. What if this was all part of his ploy to kill me in my sleep?
While he was that drunk?
I mean, who knows?
You would have choked him out.
So anyway, I left him on the couch. I tied the bag up neatly. So disgusting. Threw it in the garbage. Poured him a glass of water. And I went to bed and I brought a knife with me. Well, I already had the knife in my room realistically because I live alone. I'm trying
She will stab you if you
So I'm like... I go to bed and I'm like a little bit tipsy. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking it's just a regular Sunday. And then it hits me that there's a man outside on my couch. So I open up my door and I just take a peek because maybe he was so embarrassed that he left in the middle of the night.
I would hope so.
No, he's still there laying on the couch. And so it's 6:30 in the morning.
Is he snoring?
Puke gate. I couldn't hear. I have a white noise machine. I can't sleep in silence.
Okay.
Puke gate was like 2 a.m. So he's had about 4.5 hours to sober up.
F out.
I went to him and I was like, hey, I'm actually going to the gym now. And so he kind of did the walk of shame, but not really the walk of shame because it wasn't that kind of walk of shame. It was just like,
gross.
I farted, I puked, I came, I saw, I dropped you on your head top, almost split your skull open. And he left. And then he sent me a voice note saying that he was really sorry and that he had been drinking all day. And
so then drink water when you come to my house.
Yeah, needless to say, things fell apart very quickly after that. Anyway, what's your worst date story?
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to start this with, I don't really have many date stories, but I do have...
Yeah, Rebecca's not really in the dating streets.
Okay, but I do have one terrible one. So this guy... And you know what? Nothing against the 90s Acura because, like, you had...
First of all, not too much on the 90s Acura. I had a 99 Integra. It was standard. It was green. It was beautiful.
Okay, well, like, I'm pretty sure his was, like, one of those 1996, like, Honda Accord.
Well, when was it, though?
I would say about, like, 6 years ago.
Oh, that's pretty recent.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Okay, well, maybe he's just trying to do good for the environment.
So, like, he like, shows up, but, like, his car's, like, kind
was
of,
it
like,
standard?
Chugging.
Was it standard?
No, it was automatic.
Okay, there's
but
no
also
reason for
chugging
that.
at the same time.
That's embarrassing.
Like, chugging. And then, like, so I get in his car, and the windshield's broken, right? And it smells...
Like what?
Like wet dog.
Oh, like I know that smell. I know that
dog.
smell. Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, like, this is intense, but okay, whatever. So... Like, he tells me that he's, like, a dog trainer, and that's, like, why the car smells, because he always has dogs in the backseat of his car. And I'm just like, okay, cool. But, like, his car is, like, chugging along.
Is this a black man?
It is.
A black dog trainer. That's kind of hot.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but then...
Okay. So, like, I find out that it's chugging along because his right front tire... has a hole in it and he needs to fix it. So he's like, before we go to dinner, I'm just going to stop at Canadian Tire. I'm like, what are we stopping at Canadian Tire for? It's like, I need to fix my front right tire. I'm just like...
He couldn't have done that before he picked you up.
I didn't even know that was... First off, it was through him that I learned that you could even fix tires yourself at, like, with a Canadian Tire package. So we go to Canadian Tire and this man is like, it's... So it had rained. So he's, like, on his knees in the wet pavement, sticking some hole.
God, this is so terrible.
Tired. I'm sitting here. I'm thinking, like, you could have called me and told me I'll meet you an hour later.
Yeah, or like another day.
You didn't need to drag me to Canadian Tire to fix your tire. Okay, so we fix the tire, and then we go to the date. And
where did he take you?
Okay, we did go to Alcantrine, which is in like the distillery district, and they have the best margaritas. Mm-hmm. But that was because it was my choice.
Right.
And I'm just like, if I'm going out on a date and putting myself out there, at least I'm going to have a good time and enjoy the food. Mm-hmm. So we get there, and he's telling me about his business, his dog training business. But then it turns out that his dog training business, he doesn't get paid. Like, the dogs won't do what he trains them to do, so the people won't pay him. So I'm like, so then like, how do you have a business?
So you're broke, your tires broke, everything you just busted.
And the business is run out of his parents' basement. So it's just like, oh. So then when the bill came, Stephanie.
Oh no, don't do it. I don't want to hear it.
He couldn't find his wallet. And you know what? At that moment, I genuinely just felt bad for him. And I thought, I'm fine. Like, I could pay for both of us to sit here and eat. So I'm just going to pay the bill. And he drove me along in his stupid Honda.
Was the car still chugging?
Like, no, because he fixed the tire.
I mean, at least he can fix the tire.
It did smell like dog. And
damn.
Safe to
when
say,
you got home, did you smell like dog? Because you know someone stinks when you get home and you stink. That is the worst.
Safe to say,
if I leave your house and when I get to my house, I'm like, yo, what is that? No. I'm never hanging out with you again.
No.
I'm never coming to your house. You're never coming to mine. And I'm never hanging out with you again.
He had a dog bed in the back seat of his car. It was so disturbing. I never saw him again.
You know, that would have turned some people on. And by some people, you know exactly what I mean.
No, I never, ever saw him again.
Insane.
But those were great margaritas. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, they better have been because you paid for them.
Yeah, I did.
That is terrible. I'm so sorry to hear. Oh my God, that's just wild.
Yeah.
Okay, what are some indications that a friendship may not be genuine or healthy?
Oh, I feel like if you have to alter who you are around the person, that is a number one sign that you are doing a disservice to yourself and who you want to be as a person and the person who's in front of you. Because at the end of the day, if you're pretending to be somebody that you're not in front of somebody, you can't be mad at them for misinterpreting who you are, right? You have to be genuine. And if you feel like you're altering yourself for somebody, that is the sign of a very unhealthy behavior.
Okay.
And it could be something that you can fix in your relationship, but it's a deeper problem than I think most people are willing to face. I think another thing is if you can't like bring them, I feel like there's friends that serve certain purposes, but if you can't bring a really good friend in most circumstances, that's probably not a good friendship for you. If you don't feel comfortable bringing them around your family, bringing them to like a random setting, I don't know how genuine that friendship is if you can't go through every kind of stage.
Fair.
That's, What about you?
For me, I think it's two things. I think friends that have a hard time celebrating you. I have a friend who
That's not nice.
It's not nice. I'm in a bit of a weird place with this person because
Just get it out there, babe.
I'll have these events.
Yeah.
I'll like try and plan these things and they'll RSVP and just never show up.
And they don't say anything about not showing up?
Sometimes, yeah. And other times just like a complete no-show.
Okay.
And to me, that's so concerning because if I'm showing up for you, I always expect what I can give, like just at minimum. I think that for the most part, like my friends pour into me and I pour back into them because I understand the value of friendship. But I think that when people have a hard time celebrating you, it's an indication that they like if they can never come to your birthday party or anything that has to do with you being the center of attention and you being celebrated. I don't that to me.
But what if them not being able to attend has nothing to do with you?
I think time and time again, that's a little crazy. That's a little like at some point it does feel maybe a little bit deliberate. The other thing that I feel is friends that take jabs at you all the time. And I'm conflicted on this because I jab at you hard.
She does.
I jab at you so hard.
I think I take it like a champ.
You do take it like a champ, and that's kind of why I do it, because it's part of our lore.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty much, it's just like a characteristic of this friendship. But
I would like it to be less of the lore.
And so that's the thing. And I'm bringing this up because if I feel this way, because here's the thing. I was hanging out with a couple friends, I don't know, sometime in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And we were all hanging out, having a good time. Yeah. And I realized that one friend in particular, I was the butt of all of their jokes. And I was like, this bitch does not like me. She does not like me. And I'm still friends with her. But I feel like I know that, and I've just got it in the back of my head. Just for context. Like, hang out with this girl.
When somebody says
I don't know that it hurts. I don't know that it
Sometimes
hurts
it does.
because I've done a lot of work to put a barrier between what people say and how it affects me, right? So maybe the intention is to hurt me. Maybe the intention is to not. And the reason I can even entertain that is because not every time I take a jab at you, I want it to be, I never want it to be hurtful.
I think you think it's funny in some instances.
Precisely. But I'm just mindful of that now, thinking about how I felt realizing that this person probably doesn't like me. And
does she not like you?
I don't think she does. I don't think that she does. Maybe I hate chalking things up to jealousy because, like, I remember when I was younger, my dad would always be like, "Oh, they're just jealous. They're just jealous." And I hate doing that because I feel like it robs me of needing to take accountability in certain situations. What if this person doesn't like me because I'm an asshole? If I'm an asshole, I want to know that. And so I feel like just chalking things up to jealousy doesn't put me in the space to be asking myself to, like, take a deeper look inside. Like, are you just a douche? Like, are you a dick? I don't know why I'm thinking of these words only, but
okay. So the first thing on the first point that you made, I think one of the things I'm trying to adopt is that when I invite people to things, it's not because I'm inviting them because I expect an invitation back. I'm just putting it out there because I know I'm going to have a great time and they would be a great addition. If they don't want to include me in their things, that's also fine. That's not why I'm inviting you. It's not because I'm looking for something back from you. It's just because in the moment, it's cool to include you. And if you don't include me in your stuff, let them. It's okay.
Oh my God, I was just going to say the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins.
Let them. It's okay. And at the end of the day, I don't take it as a slight.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if you try to, like, take that approach of, you know what, I'm doing it because you will be a great addition to whatever this thing is.
I really don't take it personally. Like, when people don't come to my things, it's not that. I just think that after a certain point, there's a story that you're telling me. Yeah. And I gotta make sure that I clue in. Maybe she doesn't.
You know what? You're not, you, me, we're not for everybody, right? And that's okay.
Not for everybody.
Okay. I think that was one of the biggest things that I've learned over time is that as much as I can try to make people like me, I can't force it upon them. I can't make them like me. And if they don't, that's okay.
Let them.
Let them.
Let them.
Let them hate me.
Okay, last
Let them like
me. Let them love me.
Yeah, babe.
What's a purchase that you made that you will never regret?
Oh gosh, mine's so shallow, but I love it. Really, 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 with everything I have. My espresso machine was very expensive, worth every penny. I don't care how much it costs to restock that thing. I don't care how much it costs to,
How much does an espresso machine cost, by the way?
I feel like if you're buying a decent one, at least $1,000.
How much did you pay for yours?
$1,200. But I bought a nice one that I liked and enjoyed, and I feel like it was a great purchase. My road bike, spent a stupid amount of money on that. At the time, it was worth more than my car, the Nissan Versa that you always like to talk shit about.
Oh my God.
I'm
sorry, I'm still stuck on $1,200 for an espresso machine. Like, I just got into coffee last year, and I was like, $85 for a Keurig. That's a little.
This is the
steep.
slippery slope. I was thinking, maybe I'll get like a milk steamer so I can make lattes and cappuccinos. And I thought, well, if I'm going to get a milk steamer, I might as well make something to make espresso. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to get an espresso machine, I might as well get a good espresso machine. And that's how and you know what? Honestly, I'm just going to say this. I worry about people using like the plastic pods because
you have said that to me, the microplastic.
The heat makes the microplastics go into your coffee. And do you really want to be drinking a glass full of microplastics every morning? No, thank you. And that's how we end up with the espresso machine.
Well, now I feel super cheap because she's talking about her $1,200 espresso machine. And the only answer I have to this is like, that's what I was going to say is like, I feel like a lot of people's answer to this question might be the big expensive items where it's like, okay, well, at least now I can have like a world-class cup of espresso every day. For me, it's the little tiny things that make daily life better. So like my Ugg Tasman slippers.
You love those.
I love them.
But she does not want you to wear them in public.
I don't think you should not be wearing Ugg Tasmans outside. Don't do that.
I saw a man at my gym wearing them, but like
she sent me a picture. It was atrocious. He should not have been doing that.
He was stepping on the outside. They were like lopsided, salt stained.
Yeah, he was
like,
crazy.
bro.
He was going crazy. He doesn't have a girlfriend for sure. I know exactly what he smells like. just through that picture, I know exactly what he smells like. Anyway, my UGG Tasman slippers.
Yep.
Definitely my $85 Keurig machine, because again, like I just got into coffee last April, and I was spending like not a crate. Like I don't do Starbucks every day, but I would go to Tim Hortons, I would go to McDonald's and like buy
at least $4,
$2. No. McDonald's coffee is $1. I get a
Are
small
you getting
coffee
something with it?
No. I only
You
want
just
the
get the
coffee.
coffee?
Yeah, I eat breakfast at home.
Oh.
I have a hard time spending money on breakfast because I'm like, this is one of the easiest. Like, bitch, you can fry an egg.
Yeah, it's true.
You can fry an egg. I'd
love
rather
your
spend
boiled
money
egg.
on dinner because I save more time if I spend money on dinner. It takes me 5 minutes to whip up breakfast, but if I'm going to spend money, I want like
It's
a
easy
full
to fry an egg.
Very easy. So my UGG Tasman slippers, my Kindle, love my
She's
Kindle.
always reading her Kindle.
My Kindle really got me back into reading, man.
We're gonna have to go over our books that we're reading. I'm reading a lot. Actually.
We're gonna start a book club. Let's start a book club. Yeah, right. We don't even have time to read. What are we talking about?
I read. What do you mean? You read? I read.
Not my text messages.
Okay.
Are
you talking? Is she talking to me?
My other.
I thought I was.
Do I have anything else? My hobo uniform, like nothing.
the green
yes.
one.
No, it's black.
Is it black?
It's black. Yeah, it's like this
Okay.
big fat onesie. So yeah, like just those kind of little things. Sand and fog candles.
Yeah.
100%. Is there anything else that I really, really, really enjoy? No, I would say just like little tiny things that make my daily life like more enjoyable.
Buying a nicer car felt good for me.
Yeah, I've been wanting to buy a nicer car, but I'm thinking about future me.
Car payments, honestly, you guys, I really need you to consider, back to the financial conversation, how silly a high car payment is.
Yeah.
And is that really going to get you towards your financial goals?
Yeah.
Does that mean that you want something with cheaper insurance, cheap on gas, and it's not as flashy? Possibly.
Yeah. You know what I know? What is it? Wealth Whispers?
Wealth Simple?
No, Wealth Whispers. Like money talks, wealth whispers.
Oh, yes.
Like the richest people I know are, you would never know.
But they also have had financial planners for a long time.
Yeah, but you shouldn't need a financial planner. I feel like this stuff should be baked into the public education system.
I think it's important to have somebody who's going to check your financial decisions so that you're not making emotional ones. Like,
fair.
I do agree that you need to be the person who's managing your money.
For sure.
You do need to manage your money, but it's nice to have somebody who's in check. And
today I was looking at my phone case and I was like, ooh, I need a new phone case. And then all of a sudden I was looking at new phones.
You know what the problem is?
Reel it in, babe.
You know what that is? That's a sign of consumerism, and the fact that you have, and I have, and pretty much everybody watching this has been engulfed in the need to buy new things. I feel like not spending money needs to be, I don't even think it's about not spending money. I think it's realizing that at the end of the day, the things that you are acquiring don't come with you when you die. They pretty much don't last more than 10 years. And it's just a thing. We're always trying to like fill this void and this adrenaline of buying things, and it doesn't necessarily scratch the itch. So I really think we should be considering what we acquire and like, do we need these things?
There's a trend right now. Oh, what is it called? Underconsumption core.
Is it?
And it's like people who just go around their apartments and show like all the shitty like secondhand stuff that they have to say like, hey, I'm still using the same pots and pans from 10 years ago. Here's my shitty car, which this is not a joke, but your Nissan Versa would have definitely made the list of like
it was
things
cheap.
for
I bought it outright. It had very low
honestly,
insurance.
and I get it, and I think respect to you because you're teaching me a lot about not giving into the impulse of having the latest and greatest and newest thing. And I'm really just like, but you could use that money for something else. One thing I love about you is that you don't care about like keeping up appearances.
I don't.
You don't care about keeping up appearances. And I feel like you have to be so locked in this day and age to not care about keeping up appearances. And I really, really rate that. So I'm trying to take as much of that from you as possible
sweet.
as inspiration.
Thanks.
So anything you need to get off your chest before we lock off?
So you like the bun and cheese?
I did like the bun and cheese. I'm actually trying to speed this up so I can hurry up and get back to eating it.
Okay. The bun and cheese is good. We're going to decide on costume
We're going to decide on a
ASAP.
costume for Spice Mass. We'll share it with you. Actually, maybe we can put a poll in our social media.
Lots of summer plans.
I have something I want to get off my chest.
Tell me.
When a woman is pregnant, it is not for the husband
Where's
to
this
say,
going?
because I saw a post today, this man and woman were like, we're pregnant. Nope. No, you're not. Only one of you is pregnant. What are you talking about? We're pregnant. No, we are not. Men do this all the time.
She's pregnant. I'm expecting.
Yeah, but like even that, like you didn't really do anything.
He busted her. He did.
Ma'am!
He did.
That's crazy.
And now he has to go do the errands when she doesn't want to.
Yeah, but chances are he's not going to.
Said who?
Men.
I don't think that's all relationships, but okay.
I don't know.
Like, for example, I know my brother, Daniel, the sweetest guy ever, if his wife even, like, snapped half of a finger.
Is she pregnant?
No, but...
Is she gonna be?
I feel like when...
Are they raw
that
dogging
moment
it?
happens,
Okay.
I don't want to know. I feel like when that moment happens, she would have to even just initiate the snap and he'd be out the door.
Well, that's really good for her.
You know?
That's
so, like... And it is a big chapter to become a father because it is a
But it doesn't
big
mean
step.
he's pregnant. Why
he's
is
not
he saying
pregnant?
we're
He's not
pregnant?
getting stretch marks. He's not gaining no weight. He's not stretching out
Actually,
his Netherlands.
men do gain weight sometimes when women
Well,
are
that's your
pregnant.
fault, though. That has nothing... You're not feeding two people. So you gaining weight is because solely of your diet, not the fact that you're growing another human. And it's a harsh reality.
Cleared. Song of the day. I have one.
Tell me.
Isn't she lovely? I heard that on
Oh,
97.3
that's
Boom
sweet.
FM
That's
last
sweet.
night, and I turned that up on full blast. Isn't she lovely?
You are lovely.
Oh, that's so sweet. This is so the opposite of last episode. If you haven't listened to our last episode, we literally almost had a brawl. So you guys should definitely go and listen to that heated conversation. But look, it's just the peaks and valleys of friendship.
Yeah.
The peaks and valleys of
shitty
friendship.
dates.
And literal shit dates. Farting on the damn couch. So ridiculous.
You did get sharded? Is that possible?
I would hope not. I didn't
Ew.
notice the smell. I was on the lookout for it, though. It was the farting to the rhythm of the puke for me.
Just don't.
Like,
if
the
you're gonna
audacity.
be a man telling me that you can drink, please don't puke in front of me.
And I'll say that, like, what made this like so bad was just that he said like, yeah, like
That's not something to
nobody
brag
can
about.
keep up with me, like when I pour my drink. Like if you had never said any of that, I would have been like, oh, you poor schnookums, like you just drank too much. But you're there talking about nobody can keep up with you, and this is you're dropping me on my
Gross.
head top, almost having me splitting my skull open,
Gross. You
having to
got
sleep
stitches.
on my couch, puke in your beard, you're farting to the rhythm of your throw up. Like, are you? This has got to be a joke.
And please don't show up on a date with a broken windshield. I just like if
Or
your
a
windshield's
hole in your
intact-
tire. Or your car smelling like dog. We don't ask for much. Like, we do not ask for much. Oh, anyway. We'll see you guys next time.
Next time, you guys. Good talking. I love you, babe.
Love you too.